Are you earning enough revenue? Is a question you may have to ask yourself regularly. What is enough revenue? And why do you need to have enough revenue? Well, basically, to have cash resources so that you can pay your bills, the short term ones. Do you know what is the short term health of your business? Another important element of running a business. Well, these and many other questions we will find out. So, welcome to Asset Liquidity Challenges Conquered. We are going to conquer some of the most critical challenges based on asset liquidity. I would urge you to watch all the way to the end of this video. Why? I have a bonus reveal that will actually help you galvanize your asset liquidity. We'll find out how that will benefit you. Let's jump right in. So, you may have a question. Why me? Well, I spent 26 years in the hotel industry and I have experienced firsthand numerous discussions and analysis, particularly on the balance sheet. I would like to share some of the lessons learned so that it benefits you. More specifically, steps you can take and avoid mistakes that I saw happening over all those years. Suppose your financial controller tells you he or she doesn't have enough cash resources to pay your suppliers. Why is it so alarming? Well, mainly because it means you are not generating enough revenue and have enough cash flow to pay your bills. Now you seem puzzled. What has revenue got to do with paying of the bills? Great question. Well, let me put it this way. No revenue, no cash flow. No cash flow cannot pay bills. That is indeed alarming. Don't you agree? But actually, it need not be that way. And your next question would be, can you beat this crisis? Of course you can. With a specific strategy and laser focused action, which is what we will be doing. So, a question may be, what will it take to turn the tables on this current situation? That brings us to the key concept of this video, asset liquidity. And what is asset liquidity? It simply means how quickly can you convert your assets into cash so that you have enough cash resources. In a way, how do you get to a healthy cash flow? And what will that achieve? Well, it will create cash resources which will pay your bills. Now, can you see the connection between the revenue and the paying of bills? Time for us to get to secret one. Secret one says ensure your accounts receivable is at a minimum. What is accounts receivable? It's one of the major current assets. And why should you have it at a minimum? Let's see that. Below are the current assets from your hotel balance sheet. And we'll take a closer look at the current assets part of the balance sheet. Pay attention to the highlighted sections. As you can see, current assets show cash as the first asset, the most liquid of them all, followed by short-term investments, and then accounts receivable and inventories. In this video, we will focus on cash, accounts receivable, and inventories. And notice it says that current assets have to be shown in the order of liquidity. The most liquid right up front and the least liquid down. So cash is the most liquid and the inventories are the least liquid. Let's look at the major current assets we talked about. We have already taken a look at cash and said that cash is already in cash resource form, so it's the most liquid asset. Then comes accounts receivable. You may have a question. What is accounts receivable? Well, very simply, it is sales which is already made but money not collected yet. And so it's a very important part of the current assets of a balance sheet. Accounts receivable, as you note, are the most liquid current assets after cash. So your strategy one is to ensure accounts receivable are at a minimum. And why is that? When your accounts receivable are at their lowest, because you have been collecting your dues quickly, your cash flow will get better. Take a look at the balance sheet below, where it compares 2019 to 2018. Note the accounts receivable balance over the 2 years. Accounts receivable has actually gone up from 90,000 in 2018 to 140,000 in 2019. This means that the collection for the accounts receivable has been rather poor. This reduces cash flow, and you should avoid it at all costs. And I mean all costs. That's how critical it is. Now on to secret 2. Just like accounts receivable, keep your inventories, another important current asset, proportionate to your sales. What do I mean by that? Inventories are generally food, beverage, supplies, merchandise, etc. Let's take a look at this current asset. So you notice that the inventories are listed after accounts receivable. That is because while accounts receivable represents sale already made but money not collected, inventories represent goods and services not yet sold. So that's why it's less liquid as a current asset than accounts receivable. In fact, inventories are considered one of the least liquid of current assets. And so your second strategy would be always to relate inventories to your sales. That means if your sales for a product is going up or regularly increasing, make sure you have enough inventories. That means order enough and keep it in your stores. And monitor your inventory turnover ratio regularly. What will this do? It will ensure that the assets which you are not able to sell quickly, you don't hold too much of that, while assets which sell fast are ones you are holding inventories for more. So in a way you could say higher an inventory turnover ratio, the higher the liquidity and hence higher the cash flow. Finally, let's get to secret 3 and let's kind of move back and take a big picture overview. We looked at two current assets, accounts receivable and inventories. Well, compare your liquid assets to your short-term liabilities. Liquid assets, as I just mentioned, are cash, accounts receivable. And your short-term liabilities are the bills you pay monthly, like accounts payable and short bills that are due. Since short-term liabilities are the bills you pay monthly, you must keep your liquid assets always higher than your short-term liabilities. This will ensure that your cash flow position is healthy and enough to meet your short-term bills that you need to pay. Let's summarize. By using the three strategies which allow you to conquer the asset liquidity challenges, these are the three strategies you will take. Keep accounts receivable to a minimum. Ensure that you maintain inventories related to your sales. Keep them proportionate to the sales. And finally, compare your liquid assets to the short-term liabilities so that your cash flow is always healthy. And now, for the bonus reveal you have been expecting, and that which I promised. Thank you for watching the video to the end. And now, the bonus truth, what I call the game changer strategy. Set liquidity ratio targets for your current assets. A liquidity ratio target tells you how much of your current assets are liquid, as in how much of them can be converted into cash so that you are able to pay your bills. And then the idea here is to harness the asset liquidity secrets that we just unlocked. What will it do? It will deliver a higher cash flow consistently through higher revenue. Now, if you want to know more about how to earn higher revenue, click on the video above, which is all about how to increase your revenue or how to achieve higher revenue.